Thank you so much, Madam Division A Director Andrea Robinson. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, dignitaries, DTMs, and beloved guests. My name is Lisa Kumis, and I am serving as your facilitator for this panel number 1, Fun Facts About YLP. To kick off our first panel, I will begin with introducing DTM Anne Marie McLaughlin, and also our 4 panelists, DTM Price Polynice, Madeline Ashby, and 2 students will be highlighted. But before I give the floor to our DTM Anne to begin as the moderator for this panel, I will begin by reading the bios of our panel and our moderator to kick off. Before I begin though, just also note that I'll be serving as the timer. At 35 minutes, I am going to show the green light. At 40 minutes, I'm going to show the yellow light. And at 45 minutes, I'm going to show the red light, which will be a signal to our moderator and our panels, because this session in its whole will be about 45 minutes. All right, I'm going to kick off with reading the bios of our moderator, DTM Anne McLaughlin. Anne is an Associate Dean of Business, an instructor, and an entrepreneur. She has over 20 years of experience in education, accounting. She has worked in CPA firms, international nonprofit companies, K-12 schools, and universities. Anne joined Toastmasters in 2013 to improve her impromptu speaking, listening, and leadership skills. Anne is a distinguished Toastmaster and has served at the club level and at the district level as well. She is currently serving as the Community Outreach Chair 2021 through 2022. In her spare time, Anne enjoys nature walks, meditation, and spending time with her family. Before I give the floor to Anne, I will also read the bios of our panelists. I will now speak about a good dear friend of mine, DTM Price Polynice. He is a distinguished Toastmaster and veteran, 10-year veteran of Toastmasters. His Toastmaster journey took him on the leadership track. At the club level, he has served in most of the club officer roles that we'll hear about at least one time. At the district level, he has served as an Area 15 director for Division A. I also served with him in the same Division A team many years ago. And he's also the immediate past Division A director. He is currently a member of 3 clubs, Davy Toastmasters. In Davy Toastmasters, he helped plan and organize the youth leadership program every year for the past 10 years. He is also a charter member and club sponsor of Champion Speakers Toastmasters. His 3rd club, he is a member of North Miami Beach Toastmasters, once a struggling club. After more than 16 years, North Miami Beach Toastmasters has reached President Distinguished this past Toastmaster year. How exciting. Outside of Toastmasters, Price, he was honored to serve in the United States Navy. Thank you for your service, Price. He holds a bachelor's in information technology, a master of business administration with an executive certificate in project management. He is an avid walker and enjoys listening to nonfiction audiobooks. He is a real estate loan signing agent. Last, but certainly not least, is Madeline Ashby. She is originally from Puerto Rico and has been a Florida resident since 1996. She joined Toastmasters in March 2019 and immediately fell in love with the organization. She became VP of Public Relations of the West Pines Club in September of 2019. She has held the YLP during the summer of 2020, which then became a Gaba club and is still standing. In 2020, she became area director for Area 11. In 2021, she was asked to be a club coach, and after that assignment, she had transitioned to be the president of Freedom Toastmasters Club. Her mission within Toastmasters is to continue encouraging as many members to get involved with the organization, to experience as many positions as they can, and to also develop their skills to the maximum. There's a developmental purpose within every position held in Toastmasters, as many of us know. When she joined Toastmasters, she began because she wanted to come out of her shell. And although her journey is not over, she feels certain that she is on the right path to becoming the best version of herself. Now, without further ado, now after we've gotten to know our moderator and also our panelists, I give the floor to our moderator, DTM Ann. You have the floor.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I bring you greetings from the office of the Community Outreach Chairs, Port St. Lucie speakers, and Division D. Thank you very much for sending this invitation to me. It's an honor for me to be here. Fun facts about Speechcraft and YLP. This year, I have the honor of serving as Community Outreach Chairs alongside Jacolia Barnett. So we'll talk a little bit about Speechcraft and then we'll jump into the YLP. What's the difference between the Speechcraft and the YLP? The Speechcraft is designed for individuals 18 years and above, and the youth leadership are for youth 18 years or the youth leadership are for those 18 years or under. What is a Speechcraft? Speechcraft will elevate or experienced members by giving them confidence, by improving communication skills, and upskilling and reskilling, which means having additional skills such as project management. The Speechcraft is also an opportunity to attract non-members to learn about Toastmasters. Think about the first time you heard about the words Toastmasters. I thought it was a wine tasting experience. I thought we were selling toasters. I've sold vacuum cleaners before, so I guess selling, toasters wouldn't be a bad thing. It doesn't scream public speaking, leadership. So attracting non-members to learn about Toastmasters as a whole. And then if you're in an organization and you realize that the individuals in the organization need to elevate their public speaking, this is a great opportunity to introduce them to Toastmasters by way of the Speechcraft. Because non-members can participate in our program through an organization to boost their speaking skills. And this is a great way to obtain new members for clubs in general. Or if you have a successful Speechcraft, that could be their first club. That could be a new club. While we're on this journey, you can receive credit towards your DTM. Your DTM is your Distinguished Toastmasters Award. You have two choices, either the Speechcraft or the Youth Leadership Program. So let's talk about the Youth Leadership Program. Our youth today, are they writing letters in cursive and going to the post office and mailing it? Or they're reading newspapers on a Sunday morning? Absolutely not. They're doing a lot of electronics. They're texting, TikToking, Facebooking, whatever. So we need to meet our youth where they are. Is the technology a problem? Could be. Do they need help in the real world to connect face-to-face? Absolutely. The technology has its space, but we have an opportunity to help and mentor these youth. So how can we do that? Recognize that the youth, they need some assistance with the interpersonal and provide the guidance on developing those interpersonal communication skills. And the way in which to do so is with our Toastmasters Youth Leadership Program. But where do we find these participants? You can find them in civic groups, local religious groups, local libraries, junior achievement, Boys and Girls Club, different youth organizations like Pace for Girls, Jack and Jill, or just the schools. So here's the skinny or the highlight of the program. The Youth Leadership Program has 8 sessions. And throughout these 8 sessions, we teach the youth the fundamentals of becoming a competent speaker and communicator. In session 1, we'll have a demo meeting, public speaking, session 3, impromptu, organization, listening, gestures, voice and vocabulary, and then they have a chance to showcase their skills. Now that I'm finished with the Youth Leadership Program, what's next? So after your Youth Leadership Program is completed, you have your graduation, you highlight our youth, you can start a Gaba Club. So Gaba Club is for youth or kids under 18 years old. And it operates just like a regular Toastmasters Club. You'll have officers, you'll have meeting minutes, you'll have a formatted meeting. So it's nothing different. I would like to share my experience about my youth leadership program that allowed me to earn my Distinguished Toastmaster Award. But before I do, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my mentor, Distinguished Toastmaster, Direct Keen, for helping me, motivating me, tricking, volunteering, whatever. I love it. Thank you for believing in me, because we had a blast with the Jack and Jill of America and the Treasure Coast. We had about 25 participants. I think in the end, we ended at 15 or 20. We have youth ages 5 to 17. It was wonderful. And at the end of the 8-week period, they started their own Gaba Club, the Treasure Coast Gavaliers Club. So please give Dorette a round of applause at this time. And for all those who participated in a youth leadership program, a thumbs up. So this was the highlight of my Toastmasters journey last year. I really enjoy the club, and I attend once every couple of months. So in summary, the youth leadership is an effective workshop that equips our future leaders with communication and leadership skills. Social responsibility, giving back to the community. So keep in mind that with our Toastmaster skills, it's not for us. It's for us to bring it to the community. And I'm blessed to have this position as community outreach chair, because this is when you go outside of your club. You go into the community by way of the Speechcraft or the Youth Leadership Program. And if you'd like to contact us, outreach at Toastmasters with an S, D47.org. If you're planning on starting a youth leadership program or Speechcraft, please send me an email, and then I'll provide the information we need to keep our records. But wait, there's more. Toastmasters is not a public speaking boot camp only. It is where leaders are made. And I'd like to echo what our public relations manager mentioned this morning. This is the time to lead. And we are calling for leaders. So we still have another week. If you're interested in these roles, please send an email to the email listed here. So at this time, we'll go right into our panel discussion. My first question goes to Distinguished Toastmaster Price. Price, you're a Toastmaster rockstar. Share with us what motivated you to start the Youth Leadership Program and 3 takeaways from that experience.
Thank you, Anne. So first of all, I wasn't motivated. I was months into Toastmasters when I was pushed, fallen tall into this program that I knew nothing about. And that was the first time that we were doing it. I listened and I got in, and I will tell you, it was a joy. First, the kids are very motivated. At the beginning, not so much. They are very shy, they are into their shell. The most rewarding thing that I've year after year enjoyed is seeing those kids just blossom within those 8 weeks. Once you see them at the end, you're like, wow, it's amazing. For me, contributing to that joy makes me fulfilled. And I encourage everybody to give it a try. You will definitely enjoy. Some of those kids give speeches that are even better than the speech we give at Toastmasters, because they let themselves loose and they get into areas that we rarely talked about, like into medicine or talking about the environment, how deeply they are involved. They want to change the world. It's amazing to see kids at that age being that motivated.
Let's give Price a round of applause. Thank you so much, Price, for sharing that. I wanted to add something to what you said. The speeches from the youth are so authentic because they don't have the fear like we would have. One of the most notable icebreaker that I heard was this young lady. In her icebreaker speech, she mentioned her sister. She said, when my sister was born, my life changed, because not only was I not the only child, but now I had to learn to love and share my parents with someone else. It was phenomenal. So I definitely could understand your point with the level of heart and skill that comes with the youth as they speak. Thank you. Madeline, Toastmaster Madeline, same question. Share the highlights or the motivation behind starting your youth leadership program.
Thank you, Anne, and good morning, my fellow Toastmasters. I have to say that when I started the youth leadership program, I was a very young Toastmaster myself, but I wanted to do everything. And I thought that the organization worked so well for me that the main reason originally is that I wanted to bring and expose my son, my nephew, and my niece to the program. And that's how really the idea came about. And I said, I'm gonna do this. I need for them to understand how important it is to speak properly in front of people. And I started putting together a group of their friends, and it was so incredible. It was so inspiring to me, because for 8 weeks during the summer, we had perfect attendance, 18 kids from 11 years old to 16 years old, 17, for 8 weeks, perfect attendance. That was my biggest fear. My biggest fear was, am I gonna be able to really engage them in a way that they can come every week? So at the beginning of the meeting, I would look at the numbers, because it was through Zoom, because it was 2020 and we were in the middle of the pandemic. So I would look at the number of attendance, and it will grow and grow until I had perfect attendance. It was extremely inspiring for me. And I still remember, like Price mentioned, about the speeches that they delivered. They were so out of the box. Things that you would never maybe think about because we're older and they have these incredible young minds. And to see the blossoming from the first day that they couldn't even speak when we had the table topics, they couldn't even speak 30 seconds until the end that we need to say, hey, it's red, you need to just stop talking. It was very, very exciting. I definitely think that It's not an experience only for the kids to grow, but for any Toastmaster, it's an amazing experience.
Thank you, Madeline. You mentioned the perfect attendance. And for youth to have perfect attendance, it sounds like an oxymoron. I did some time in the K through 12 institution where I taught high school math and middle school math. And when the students know and they are engaged because they love it, they're passionate, and they get the encouragement, the sky's the limit. And that's what I've seen as well with the Youth Leadership Program. So thank you for sharing that. Price, share with us one challenge you've had with the Youth Leadership Program and how you were able to overcome it. And the same question for Madeline afterwards.
Well, with the Youth Leadership Program, there's a couple of challenges. First is to get our Toastmasters involved. Because the way we do it is that over the weeks, we engage our members to come and participate, whether you can come in for one session or two sessions, and you can hold a table topic session or lead the evaluation part of the meeting. That's one challenge, to get those members involved. And at the same time, we're working with kids. So most of our kids, we have kids all the way at 8 years old that come to that program. So some of them are not mature enough. So you have to kind of cajole them and go on them and say, oh yeah, you need to pay attention right here. And you have to play on with them a little bit so you can keep them focused. So dealing with that age group is very, very, sometimes can be challenging. But what it is that once they get the program, I mean, we get into week 2, week 3 with them, and they start following the routine that you set up for them, it gets really great. But mostly it's those two things. It's getting other Toastmasters involved in the program, because we don't want to have the same people in front of them at all times. We want to change the faces. And then the younger ones, trying to cajole them and getting more focused and more involved.
Okay, so that's a good point, this is a team effort. So the more you can volunteer and be a part of someone else's youth leadership program, the more apt they would be to start their own. And as a community outreach chair, this is a public service announcement. Please email myself or Jacolia so that we can attend as well, especially the graduation or your first meeting. So thank you for sharing. And Madeline, the same question?
Well, for me, I think that the challenges was that I really wanted structure in the meeting, because I wanted to teach them. So for the meeting to be effective, you need to have structure. And for them to catch this, to understand how important that is, it was a little bit challenging. So before every meeting, I was always texting them and calling them and say, okay, you know your role, do you have your script? Do you know what you're gonna say? They were at the end, I mean, you do have to, it's not only about the week, just planning that meeting, but these kids, they get so engaged that they want even to present. They would call me, can you please see my speech before I present it? So it became a full-time experience, because I really wanted them to shine, and it was so inspiring that they were so engaged that you do put the time and you say, okay, on Sunday night, you're going to call me, I'm going to see your speech, and I would give them tips. Another challenge was that I wanted to make sure that they were having fun, correct? Because there is an educational part of the youth leadership program in every meeting. So you don't only have the table topics and the speeches and the evaluations, just like our normal meeting, but you have a segment of education because it's a workshop.
Yes.
And I wanted to make that part of the education fun and make sure that they would understand. So in order for you, it's not only to read what the pamphlet tells you that you need to teach, but teach it in a way that they will enjoy it, and they will definitely, it's ingrained in their brains. And that there's a lot of preparation for each meeting. So although it is extremely rewarding, you do have to put the work to have a successful workshop.
Okay, thank you. The challenges that I saw as a youth leadership coordinator was these kids are booked and busy. They had a lot of agenda items. They had school, they had other activities. So to fit them in probably once a month, that was a challenge. But over time, we were able to change their schedule to meet their needs. And that helped as well. When it came to the parents, communicating with the parents are so tired because the kids are active and they're fun and they're intelligent. So I know sometimes with the parents to coordinate the schedule with the kids. So that was my experience as far as the difficulty. So Madeline, can you introduce the kids that we have on, the youth?
Yes, I have. Here with us today, we have a Madeline Ashby, which is my son. And Madeline was part of the Gaba Club, the Youth Leadership Program. And the Youth Leadership Program became a Gaba Club. So Madeline was our first president, and we have Ana Calleja, who is the actual president of the Gaba Club. And this Gaba Club has been open now for a year. And actually, can I do an announcement as well? We're looking for a person that can take the Gaba Club, a coordinator of the Gaba Club, because these kids are extremely engaged. It's a very strong club, but the coordinator, due to work engagements, she needs to pass the Gaba Club to someone. So if anybody is interested or knows something about it, you can let Anne know and I will communicate with her. So we have Madeline and Anna. So I let them for you to ask whatever you want, Anne.
Okay, question for both. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Started with Anna.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I am currently a junior in high school. I am 16 years old. And when I first joined the youth leadership program, I did so because my mom made me. It was not because I wanted to. I wasn't very pleased at first because I had this fear of public speaking. I am shy and usually get nervous easily. But my mom was always tell me that this is going to be the best for you. This is going to help you. This is for your best. And I believed her. I came to the meetings for the 8 weeks and I saw how much the meetings helped me, how supportive everyone was. And I saw my improvement. I saw other people's improvement, which motivated me as well.
Thank you. You speak very well.
Thank you.
Let's give her a round of applause.
So exciting.
And we have Jean.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. The first thing I thought when my mom told me to join Toastmasters was that it was going to be a weird experience because I knew how much she enjoyed it. I could hear her every day from my room talking in her speeches and getting better. So I thought it was going to be a great experience for me. And eventually our group, our youth leadership program, became a big family. And after a while, it took a little bit of rough edges and people getting nervous. But after a while, we became really strong speakers. And I'm really proud of that.
Okay, thank you. Here's a question for both of you. How many friends have you invited to the club and what is their experience so far?
When we started the youth leadership program, I joined with my brother. It was just him and I. So usually when the meeting ended, we would go to each other's room and be like, we started discussing everything. We started talking about the table topics, how fun it was. And then when we started the Golden Gavel Club, I told 2 of my friends that they should join because I knew what they wanted to do when they grow up and go to college. And I knew that this would help them a lot. So I told them, join, come, and they liked it so much. We started doing in-person meetings once a month, and we always went all together. We had so much fun. We would even tell our friends in lunch and in school about our experiences. So that was great. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Well, the first people I was closest with in the Gavel Club were my cousins, and my cousins and I do a lot of stuff together. And this is one of the things that we really enjoyed doing together. Every time one of us had a speech or we had to speak, we would go to my mom's room because my mom was running the youth leadership program. So when I'd go to my mom's room and she'd call them, and then we just talk about their speeches forever. And then they would talk about what they did wrong, what they could improve on. And from there, we kept on growing as speakers together. And I had told my friends about it, but they were kind of skeptical about it at first. But when I gave them more details, they've been really interested in what I'm doing, and they know that it's going to further me in my future. And they've talked to me about it too.
Okay. It's good that you can spread the word, and that they when they hear it from you, it makes a difference versus an adult. So that's definitely helpful. What is the hardest thing about being a Toastmaster through your Gaba Club? Jean and Anna.
The hardest thing, sometimes it's getting over that fear, because even though I've been doing this for over a year, every time I need to speak, I still get chills and I get nervous. But I know that everyone is supportive. I know that we're all there for the same purpose, and we went from total strangers to friends, which is why you get to enjoy it so much. Everyone's there supporting you, and when you finish your speech, even though you were nervous at first, you notice that everyone's telling you, you did such a great job, you have improved so much, which is really rewarding.
And everybody gets nervous. It shows that you're still alive, and we still love this, and we're still human. So even online. So thank you for sharing. Jean, what about you?
I would definitely say the hardest thing is probably application, because after a while with that youth leadership program, we became so close that it was like we were speaking to our friends. So we became kind of comfortable. And that's why I think it's important to keep bringing new people in and to keep having these experiences like this one, perhaps. And I even remember the other day in school, I had to read a poem, and I got so nervous for no reason. And usually, since the youth leadership program, I've been able to speak pretty confidently, but I got so nervous, and I remembered, and I slowed down my breathing, and I had to remember all the skills that I had learned so that I could be able to perform that poem the way I wanted to and the way I wanted to present it. So yeah, I would say that's the hardest thing, being able to apply what you've learned into situations where it's not the same people.
That's a drop the mic moment. Let us give Jean some love hearts, some emoji. I love that. Thank you. And that's called reskilling and upskilling. Definitely honing in on your skill and using it outside of the club. Final question for the youth. What advice would you give to a young person who has problems in school, speaking, expressing themselves, but you'd like them to improve their public speaking skills? What advice would you give to them?
My first advice to someone that wants to improve their public speaking skills is to join the Golden Gavel Club. It is definitely the best experience. It will help you get over that fear of public speaking and making a mistake, because that's normal. And sometimes we want everything to be perfect, but it's not that way. With practice, you get better and you improve, which is why going to the meetings have helped me. And I know that other young adults as well so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that any advice I would give to someone of my age would be that if you don't try it, you're never going to experience what it's going to be like. And these are things that'll set you up for your future, and you're eventually going to have to speak in front of people. It's inevitable. And what I would tell them specifically to do is for the first part of their speeches to talk about something they're passionate about. Because people don't notice that when they're speaking, and if it's something they're passionate about, they could go on for hours. And they don't notice that they could do that in front of other people. So I would tell them to speak about what you're passionate about until you get into a group, and then you can start expanding your horizons into other things.
All right, thank you, Jean. I listened to that. There was no arms or on. You use a good word, inevitable. All right, so the vocabulary is working. So let's get back to our Toastmasters. Price and Madeline, what is your one takeaway that you had from listening to our Gavel Club members, Jean and Anna? Probably one or two takeaway, and then we'll open for some questions.
Well, let me tell you, I haven't seen Anna for a while, and my eyes I got all emotional, because I remember Anna, the first meeting during our youth leadership program, she couldn't finish her table topics. She just couldn't. And look at her now. I'm so proud of her. And I, like everything Toastmasters, I've always been, since the day I started 3 years ago, I've been a fan. I know it works, but at the same time, like Michael mentioned, you have to get into it. You have to really get involved. And for me to really be able to become a great speaker, you have to get involved as much as you can with the organization. You have to. Just having this, the youth leadership program taught me how inspiring it is when you create leaders, when I saw these kids coming out of their shelves in only 8 weeks, I said, wow, imagine what I can do with adults. And that's why I became an officer in my club and an area director, because you do see people growing. So for me and these kids, I really hope that now that Michael is gonna be 18, there's certain kids within the Gaba Club that are becoming 18, that they join Toastmasters. So I think this is a great tool that the organization have to really get the word out there and to have long Toastmasters for a lot of years within our organization. So I think youth leadership program should be something that we should utilize a lot more. I don't know how much it's growing the program, but I think it's a fantastic program for anybody.
Thank you for that, because it's good to talk about the growth of the youth. So just a fun fact about Toastmasters. Toastmasters has been around for 97 years. And it was about 50 years ago when women were allowed in Toastmasters. So we have the opportunity now where we can have youth, women, diverse, equity, inclusion. We can do that and still hone in on our skills and become better communicators. Most relationships that fall apart is for one reason: communication. With that, Price, you have share your thoughts on the youth today, and then we'll open up for questions.
No, I think, a great takeaway is that as a youth, you're getting the skills that you're going to need for a lifetime. And there's no way that you're not going to be speaking in front of people. That's a skill that you're going to need to hone for sure. And the second thing is the first few speeches, talk about something you're passionate about. And that will take away a lot of the butterfly, a lot of the nervousness, and get you through feedback. And you can explore other things. But when you think and talk about things you're really passionate about, that's what all the arms and are gone, and all your expression, your true expression, come really alive. So that was a good takeaway from the youth today. Thank you.
Thank you. Jean and Anna, any final words?
I just want to thank Madeline for being our counselor in the youth leadership program. I know that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And thank you for this opportunity. I know the Golden Gavel Club has so much to offer, and I would tell to everyone my age and around this age to join, because it helps you improve, and you learn so much from it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank all of you guys and every single Toastmaster that has experienced anything with my mother, because it's been something that's changed her life a lot, and she's gained a lot of confidence. She's become a better person out of it. So I'd like to thank you guys for having any type of experience with my mother.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Do we have time for 1 or 2 questions from the audience? And please feel free, this is the time to encourage your youth. Drop something in the chats, words of encouragement, anything. And we want to get back on schedule because we have the officers training coming up in a few minutes. So we have a lot of things in the chat. So on behalf of the leadership team, community outreach chair, this has been a wonderful experience. Just so you guys know, the youth leadership program in young people terms is a whole vibe. We're doing it. It's a great experience. It's something that will reignite your spirit for Toastmaster. I know at Port St. Lucie Speakers, we lost about 12 members due to COVID. Not just, they just didn't renew, but we gained 15 more because we rebranded the club as a part of my DTM project. And now our new vision is mentor, engage, and growth. And that's our motto, and that's what we do with all new members, because it's all about the experience. We need Toastmasters now more than ever. Becoming a virtual communicator, becoming good with technology. I hated technology, but now I have to love it. And because of that, I was able to land my dream job as an associate dean in a remote setting. So bye-bye COVID, because it was rough. It was rough. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and special thanks to distinguished Toastmaster Andrea Robinson, who has kept me informed, and for this platform today. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Back to you, Toastmaster Andrea.
I'll take it from here. Thank you so much, DTM and DTM Price, Toastmaster Madeline, and to our youth, Jean and Anne. Thank you so much for those wonderful insights on the community services that Toastmaster provides, especially about the youth leadership program. I was getting teary-eyed. It's a personal moment because I have a 6-month-old son, and I know deep down in my heart that I can't wait till he joins a Gaba club and he joins Toastmasters, and how much now I find myself encouraging him to exercise his voice. And even though they're just coos and screeches, I'm excited for him because I know the potential in him, and I see it already. And I see Jean and Anne, you guys are wonderful, and you are the youth is the leadership of our world, our country. So thank you so much. We appreciate your time, your expertise, and tools that you've given us today. Audience, please complete the evaluation link that I posted down in the chat. It's going to be evaluation on this panel 1. Now I'll give back the room to our Madam Division 8 Director, Andrea Robinson. Thank you for having me as your facilitator today for panel 1.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I do appreciate you. As Lisa mentioned, the evaluation link for this panel on YLP and the community services programs is in the chat. Please complete that, and because we want your feedback. We want your feedback, and I'm sure our moderator and the panelists will appreciate your feedback. I think they did a fantastic job. And while I have adult children now, I'm sitting here thinking, I wish I knew about this when they were younger to get them involved. A reminder to our club officers, please. Our PRM is putting in the chat links for your respective Zoom sessions for the officer training. Those will begin promptly at 11 a.m. Please, you can click the sessions here, the links in the chat, or you were sent a reminder email about your training session. You can also visit there. For the Vice President of Membership session, you should have received an updated link, a corrected link with your session. So the correct link should be among the ones that are being placed in the chat now. But we want all of our club officers who did sign up for the training to get ready to attend the 11 a.m. session. We hope you are being reignited and re-engaged and excited about Toastmasters. Upcoming is going to be a session on reigniting passion for pathways. And I'm sure it's an interactive session. I want to just give you a tip. It's an interactive session. So get ready for that. That's going to be here in the main room. And also we will have a special scintillating inspirational message from another past district director in this case, distinguished Toastmaster, Dr. Maurice Fuller. He promises to give us an interactive session to make you think differently about Toastmasters. So make sure those of you who are going to training for your officer sessions, come back to the main room once those sessions are over. And those of you who are not undergoing training, please stick around for that. You will not want to miss it. Our fabulous facilitator, Lisa Kumis, remains with us as facilitator in the 11 o'clock a.m. hour for the next panel session. That session will begin promptly at 11 a.m. Mr. Zoom coordinator, if we could have some nice jazzy music